Well, hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of The Shooting Show. Welcome to today's program, friends. Yeah, it's raining. It's been raining here in Louisiana for several days. We didn't get to do our introduction outside. However, we do have a great show for you today. Some of you, this is Thursday as we're taping this, some of you saw the tyranny response team members on CBS, ABC, NBC, CNN, Communist News Net, Clinton News Net, whatever, and showing some of the very same good and dedicated pro-freedom, pro-American demonstrators out in Denver, Colorado. This week, Bill Clinton is having his Columbine tragedy commemorative celebration, and essentially it is a gun elimination drive that Bill Clinton is on. He's out there campaigning, and you know, we had our radio show there yesterday, and again, this is Thursday, that was Wednesday, and we know we had federal monitors listening on the air, so you know what? We didn't back down at all. Because you know what, friends? We can't be afraid of the people that are trying to disarm us. Somebody, someone has got to stand up in their faces and say, no, you're not going to disarm us. And that's what the demonstrators were saying yesterday. And a lot of you saw this on the national news media. They're saying, we will not disarm. We will not disarm. Well, realize that we're not up against dummies here. Nobody is better at manipulating the press. If the press has to be manipulated, liberal socialists, the majority of them that they are, no one is better at manipulating the weeping mother, weeping father, weeping classmate syndrome than is Der Schlickmeister himself. Nobody's better at that in his organization. But you know, there comes a time, and right now this is the most serious attack that our country has ever been in for what we as United States citizens represent. We're under the most brutal attack, the most insidious attack. Talk about your Trojan horse. In Washington, D.C., we have the true revolutionaries in Washington, D.C., and they've got their tentacles out in some of these cities and state governments around the country, where they're trying to change our form of government. Isn't that what a revolution is? Trying to change the form of government. Well, it's not us. It's not us out here in America. It's liberal socialists who despise our Constitution, who despise the principles that our country is built on. They're the ones trying to change it. Listen, to these people in the Clintonian administration, and he's not the first one, we've had a succession of anti-Constitution presidents and Congresses and State Departments. They're trying to change our form of government into liberal socialism. In fact, let's just make that socialism/communism. That's what they want. Central ownership of everything, telling you and I everything that we have to do every day, telling us where we can live, how we're going to live, all sorts of things, what kind of Kool-Aid we're going to drink. This political correctness stuff has gone crazy. It is beyond. You know, right now, I heard today where a young man, I believe in Kansas, 7th grader, was expelled from school because he drew a picture of a Confederate flag, a drawing of a Confederate flag. Another in a kindergarten, I think it was in Virginia. I stand to be corrected on location. This is true. Some little boys were playing cops and robbers. We're talking kindergarten. They were pointing their finger. Bang, bang. Guess what? They were taken out of school. Zero tolerance on violence. What has it come to, friends? What in the world? Notice where this congressman from Virginia grabbed an 8-year-old. The 8-year-old pointed at his car and said, "Hey, mister, I like your car." This congressman jumped and owned this little boy, tried to choke him because he was pointing his finger at him. You know, a finger gun? Bang, bang. Have we gone crazy? Have we lost our mind? Well, some of us have. That's true, some of us have. We've been saying for a while that the liberal socialists are mentally retarded. They're an aberration in logical thinking. and they're proving it to us every day. But look how much control these folks have got. Do you think they've gotten that control on their own? No. Do you think that our educational system would be controlled by blithering idiots on their own? No. No, 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 no. Do you think that Bill Clinton, the most crooked person to sit in the White House in the 20th century, do you think he got there by people saying, oh yeah, he's a great guy, let's elect him? Do you think so? No. There are very, very carefully crafted plans that put these clowns in the position they're in, because we're up against a lot bigger struggle than a single politician. We're up against an evil system to dominate all of us. You know, we'll be talking about on tomorrow's radio show, and a lot of you have heard me announce this already, listen to the radio show. We're going to have Don Kennedy, who wrote a book called The South Was Right, he and his brother Ronald. And it talks about, a lot of people now are talking about, say, wait, what was that Civil War about? So wait, what was it really about? It was not about slavery. I can prove that. A very small percentage of people in the South owned slaves. And I have two great grandfathers that fought for the Confederacy, and I owe this much to them and their memory. And also, there were a lot of fine people that fought from the Union states, from the North, that deserve the truth to be told. All of them do. They gave their lives, and they deserve the truth to be told. And the War of Independence, Southern Independence, was not about slavery. That's just another bit of revisionist history meant to keep dividing us as races here in the United States. I can prove it wasn't. Very few people in the South owned slaves anyway, very few. They were so expensive. Would you go across town and fight for somebody to keep their car if slaves were seen as possessions, okay? Would you? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't go and fight and lay down your life so someone could keep their car or their house. That's their problem. The majority of the Southerners were not going to fight for somebody else's slaves. That's not true. They were fighting for what they believed in. The Southern Constitution was the identical copy of the Northern Constitution or the United States Constitution. They were fighting over states' rights. Remember, the federal government did not form the states. The states went together and formed the federal government. This thing is backwards. And now the federal government is ruling with an iron hand over the 50 supposedly sovereign states. Yeah, right. Well, friends, that's the only place on TV you're going to hear this. It's true. Look it up for yourself. Go back in history. Yours truly is a veteran of pre-politically correct history. We can prove these things. It's all there. You just have to look. Tell you what, friends, we've got to reach more numbers on television. We're up against the most powerful, best financed evil conspiracy to take our freedom that has ever existed in the world. We're up against them. We're standing here on television. You want to help us stay on the air? You can. You can by sending whatever you can to the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road in Dublin, Louisiana. If you want to help us in WYLE TV get our network underway and get started, you can by donating whatever you can, because that's how we're here. We don't have the massive, look at PBS. They got for this liberal socialist tripe that they're putting on the airwaves. That's a government sponsored. We're paying for that with our tax money. Well, see, we don't have tax money that pays for the Shooting Show or our new network. No, we have to do that ourselves. Will you help us? Will you please help us? We want to remind you that we are having a fun gun day in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. It's the Muscle Shoals, Tuscumbia, Florence, Sheffield, Quad Cities area there. And WYLE is promoting this as well as us on the program. It's May 6th. It's going to be at the Seven Springs Lodge there, and you can certainly call WYLE if you need directions. But it is going to be a great event. We're going to have real machine guns. We're going to be there meeting people. We're going to have our MECTECs on display. Got a special deal right now until May 30th on the MECTEC, $325 for the MECTEC conversion unit. You can buy it from us here at the program, or you can call MECTEC at area 406-882-4255. we have a special deal, the pistol kit and the carbine conversion for $575, the pair of them, right now. It's going up after May 30th. But anyway, you can get that from us right here at the program. Friends, we do have a great show. We're going to show you, we're going to go back and visit our good friend Art Alpin today, because Art's on our radio program today, and he deserves, is one of the most deserving people that we've ever had on our program, one of the most intelligent, one of the greatest firearms experts we've ever had on the show. And we're going to revisit some of Art's things today. So anyway, friends, glad to have you with us. These things have got to be talked about. Let's get another shooting show underway.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Now, friends, here's one of the most important publications you can get. This is a great Georgia Arms catalog, and please write their phone number down, 1-800-624-6861. This is a tremendous catalog with the best ammunition prices available in the United States. Okay, well, here's a mention of the Shooting Show. Hey, that's reason enough to support them right there, but you get superior ammunition at superior prices. Let's look over here. Whoops, let's see, what do we see? 460 Rowland, yes indeed, but we also see a tremendous number of other things. 45 ACPs, 44 Magnums, 41 Magnums, certainly our defense load there, defense special 41 Magnum load available, but all kinds of others. 9mm, 357 SIGs, 44 specials, 30-06s, 7 mags, all kinds of neat stuff. Plus they have components. If you want to load your own, they'll sell you lead bullets, they'll sell you nostril bullets, all kinds of great features. Yes, in fact, they'll even sell you a 460 Rowland kit for the great 1911 guns, cleaning accessories. Here's gunpowder for sale, loading equipment for sale. Friends, give them a call today. These are some of the finest people, period, that I've ever had a chance to meet. Curtis Shipley and our good friend Larry Haney from Georgia Arms, and they're helping to support the Shooting Show. Give them a call today. Get a free catalog, 1-800-624-6861. And please don't forget to tell them you saw it here on our show.
The common belief amongst many people is that if only Custer had had Winchester lever-action rifles, he would never have been massacred at the last stand. You've seen the Model 1873 Springfield before. It is an improvement of Erskine Allen's trapdoor of 1866. This weapon, in carbine form, was the weapon of the 7th Cavalry. This is the 1873 Winchester. It holds 12 rounds in its tubular magazine. In order to fire, the shooter need only move the lever down and up. This extracts and ejects the old cartridge case, feeds a new cartridge into the chamber, and cocks the rifle. Let's watch the Winchester strut its stuff on the range. You saw the extreme difficulty in loading the Winchester's magazine. When you put the lever action against the clock, all of a sudden its volume of fire is not so great. Further, some of the rounds were hitting short. When you fire at the extremely high rate, which I did with the first magazine full, 12 rounds in 15 seconds, you find that you can't reacquire the sight picture because the slap of the upward motion of the lever knocks the barrel downwards. If you are to deliver accurate fire, you must take 2 or 3 seconds after the motion of the lever to reacquire your sight picture. On the chart, it looks like this. The difference in volume between the two rifles is not that great. And remember, with the trapdoor Springfield, when the range closes, his volume of fire will go up to 9 or 10. And the Winchester at 13 is going flat out constantly. What about the range? Are we cheating the Winchester? Surely it must be better than this. In fact, we're giving the Winchester the benefit of the doubt. The Model 1873 Winchester was chambered for 4 different cartridges. The most powerful of them was the 4440. That's a 200 grain 44 caliber bullet with 40 grains of black powder. Chronographed on modern instruments, it delivers just over 1,000 feet per second. This means that the Model 1873 Winchester is only slightly more powerful than the .45 automatic of today. The Winchester was about a 120-yard rifle at best. In fact, at 120 yards, the Winchester had roughly the energy of a .45 automatic at 80 yards. Why did Winchester use such weak cartridges? The Model 73 was really a very poor design. Though it looks on the outside like a nice big lever action, when you take the side plate off, you find a different story. The bolt is held forward by this toggle arrangement, and the toggle is held closed by the fingers holding the lever against the grip of the rifle. You couldn't make it for any more powerful a cartridge. When this design was scaled up in 1876, the result was still no good. The design is weak and extremely inefficient in length. It simply will not take long, powerful cartridges. Further, Mr. Winchester's production couldn't keep up with his boasts. In 1873, he produced only 126 rifles. It wasn't until the 1880s before Oliver Winchester was capable of consistently producing these rifles in large quantity. When he did produce them, he was producing them for deer hunters, other people who were shooting at close range, and for people who wanted a rifle that fired the same cartridge as their revolver.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
Friends, we want to remind you, if you have one of our 460 Rowland pistol kits on your gun, you can get a specially made Kramer holster for it from our friend Dennis Crocker there in South Carolina. Dennis also has Kramer holsters for a variety of other handguns. So give him a call, area 864-587-8722. And we also want to remind you about Starline Brass. They do have our 460 Rowland brass in stock, freshly made. Call them immediately. Also, if you have other handgun calibers, get a listing of their complete lineup. Call Starline Brass 1-800-280-6660. And now let's rejoin our good friend Colonel Art Alpin at the West Point Military Academy.
It was not until 1886 when manufacturing capability and design caught up with desire. These came together in the 1886 Winchester. You can see the two locking lugs sliding in corresponding slots in the receiver, which lock the bolt closed. This was the first lever action that would take the large black powder cartridges that ranged out to 150 yards and beyond. By 1886, however, the buffalo were gone and the Indians largely defeated. So let us get back to the time frame at hand. Was the lever action Winchester of 1873 totally devoid of redeeming social value? No. Not exactly. In the hands of trained troops, led by men who understood the capabilities and limitations of the Winchester, and who were willing to weave that into their battle plan and their tactical organization, the Winchester might still contribute to the successful outcome of battle. A good example is the Battle of Plevna in 1877. In this battle, the Russians were charging across open ground towards Turkish entrenchments. The Turks, during the 1870s, had been on a weapons buying spree throughout the industrialized world. They had bought a large number of Mauser single shots, Remington rolling blocks, and Peabody single shots, among others. They had also bought a number of Henry and Model 1873 Winchesters. At Plevna, they equipped each and every man with a long-range single-shot breech loader and its ammunition, and with a Winchester lever action and its ammunition. As the Russians attacked, the Turks engaged them at long range and extracted heavy casualties. Only when the pitiful remnants of the Russian attack closed to within 80 yards did the officers order their men to put down the single shots and use the Winchesters, which were sitting ready with full magazines. The resulting storm of lead literally blew the Russians from the field before the magazines were empty.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
Friends, we want to remind you about Gun Owners of America, the only no-compromise Washington-based national gun organization. They're helping to support our program, and trust me on this one, they're helping to preserve our gun rights. For information on joining Gun Owners of America, give them a call at 888-886-GUNS or 888-886-4867, and please tell them you saw it here on our show. Now, friends, we've taken the primers out of these two shells. This one's brand new here for our 460. This is what's called, you see these two little holes here? You can see down here, there's a hole on each side of this little center brass piece, and we messed that brass piece up a little bit because due to this military cartridge, it was kind of difficult to get out. But you can see all the way through this cartridge case here. That's called a Berdan priming system. It has two holes in the case itself, and this is called the anvil. That little centerpiece there that you're looking at is called the anvil, and a lot of military ammo, a lot of foreign ammo is manufactured like that. It's supposed to be cheaper to make. This is our standard, our boxer primer, which has one hole in the center, and this is much easier to reload. In the case of most centerfire calibers, you can load them over and over in the brass case. And let me show you, here is a primer we took out of a spent primer. It's already been shot, obviously, but this is the cup where the fulminate or priming compound is, and here's a little anvil that goes in it. Let's see if I can do this without dropping it. I don't know if I can. Get out here in my hand. Now then, that little thing right there is the anvil, and it goes in this little cup, and what happens is the firing pin hits the primer here, and this anvil is in the cup like so, and it hits against the little anvil, and that sets the spark off, or the flame, and it goes through this hole in the center of the case into the gunpowder, and that's what launches the bullet. Friends, I want to remind you, a broadcast copy of our shooting shows are archived at Jim's House of Videos, area 318-869-0439. And now for our support group, we have custom leather work and saddlery in Denham Springs, Louisiana. That number 225-667-9225. We have Brooks Communication in Albuquerque, New Mexico, area 505-888-2929. We have Camouflage Technologies in Southern California, area 909-674-6488. We have Gearlings Equipment Rentals in Southern California, area 909-354-6.